Welcome to Trustee Talk, and thank you for joining us. I'm Dick Murgatroyd, and today we're going to meet two of our newest trustees here in Anderson Township, Josh Girth and Andrew Pappas, and we're going to begin with Andrew. Andrew, welcome to the first edition of Trustee Talk for you in 2014.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Nice to have you with us.
Thank you.
Let's start out. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I've been an Anderson resident here for over 20 years. I moved here from Houston, Texas, and I was visiting a friend here in Cincinnati looking to move to a more temperate climate than the South. And I was visiting a friend in Hyde Park that actually grew up here in Anderson. And just on a whim, I drove out Beachmont Avenue and I saw a great spot for my business, which I wanted to relocate. And the rest was history. Signed a lease, moved into a house built in, I think, 1955. And I've been happier as a clam ever since.
Great. You like the more temperate climate?
I do like the four seasons. I will say that today it's snowing,
Yes.
and, which is great for the holidays. January and February, it could get back up to 70 degrees, but that's okay.
I'm with you.
And that polar vortex that we all suffered through was quite a challenge.
It was.
Quite a challenge. It's been cold before, but I don't remember it being that cold.
I don't think so either. Of course, I think in Cincinnati, we always say if you wait long enough, the weather will change. It doesn't take long.
That's what I like about Cincinnati the most. You know, if it was about the time you get sick of it being hot, it cools off, and vice versa. It's always changing.
Yeah, Houston's usually pretty hot.
Houston there's hot and then there's less hot.
And they're less hot, yeah, for sure.
So, and we don't have four seasons down there, but I also enjoy the four seasons. I think
so too. I think I wonder sometimes, but I think most of us that stay here.
I think that people that raised here sometimes maybe take the four seasons for granted, but it is nice to have the change of seasons.
Yeah.
And I like it. That's why I'm staying here. That's why I chose to get involved politically and help get involved with the government here.
Well, we're glad you showed up.
Thank you.
What possessed you? Is this your first office?
This is the first time I've run for office.
Okay. I always am curious. What possessed you to want to do this?
I began to get politically active without thinking of running for office years ago. I got tired of yelling at the television. I got tired of yelling at the newspaper. And I thought, you know, there has to be a way to get involved. And there's lots of ways for citizens to get involved. Voting isn't enough. It is for some. But if you want to make a difference, you volunteer for presidential or other campaigns, or you get involved in any number of groups. I'm involved with Freedom Works and a couple of other groups, some Tea Party groups. And it came to the point where I said, okay, I've done that. I've been as involved as I could be there. And I said, I wanted to help locally, because all politics is local.
Yes, it is.
And a lot of people think, you can go to either Columbus or DC and make a difference. You can make a bigger difference locally.
Yes, you can.
And if everyone focuses on cleaning up their local municipalities or help locally, the big picture will solve itself.
Well, yeah, and I think I always have said, you know, that local government is really the first responder for citizens. I think citizens feel helpless if they think about Columbus and Washington. It's like, what can we do and what can they do for me, because they don't even know what my problems are here. And I think that's why being at the local level, you are the first responder. You're the one they know and they can find you.
They can find me.
But they also can get results.
The trustee form of government really is it's first of all, it's one of the oldest forms of government. And it is one of the nice part about a trustee form of government. It's the one where your elected officials are closest to the people.
Absolutely.
If I'm walking through Kroger, I've been stopped and asked questions about this or that, and it's only day 14, 15. So at the end of the day, it is nice that when you're involved locally, you feel like you're closest to the people that you represent.
Well, you're living
Yes.
every day. You're living what they're living.
Yes.
And I think that makes a difference. I think the tendency is I was fortunate enough to serve 10 years in various capacities as elected official and also just with the government in various capacities. But I was at state government level, and so you really weren't while we were home a lot because of the nature of Kentucky government, people never really, I think, could relate to, first of all, a lot of times they couldn't figure out where we were.
Right.
Were we in Washington or were we in Frankfurt? And so, but they never felt like we really were in touch with what was going on.
There's a little bit of a disconnect there.
There is a disconnect, and I think that with the local, because they do see you at the grocery store, and they can stop you, and they don't mind.
No.
And,
That's a good thing.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
I think it is a good thing.
It is
So you're 2 weeks in when we're taping this. Has it been what you thought it would be, or is it what's different than what you thought it might be like?
Nothing really has been different. I will say this: what has impressed me the most is how good our staff here that run Anderson Township are. And what I mean by that is we had an orientation meeting, and they brought us up to speed quickly. I mean, very quickly. They've made the transition from regular citizen to trustee simple and painless. And we still have a lot to do. There's still a lot to learn. No shortcuts there. But we haven't. They've made it. They've welcomed us. They've shared their information with us. They've helped us, and really got us up to speed a lot quicker. I thought I'd be fumbling around for about the first month, and they've made that period very, very short.
I think, our business is in Anderson. I happen to live in Kentucky, and I've been doing this show for quite a while. But I'm impressed with Anderson Township, and I'm impressed with the trustees that I've known and I've met, and just in what I see in general. This area is well run.
Well run.
I think I look at the fiscal aspects of it, the economic development that's happening in this. The economic development is phenomenal.
Yeah.
But it's very impressive, and I think it's got to be an enjoyable place to be, because everybody has challenges. Governments have challenges. I have challenges trying to keep that out in my lap. Anyway, government has challenges, but I feel like that this government has really addressed those, and constantly is on top of what's going on.
What's impressed me the most is how professional they are.
Yeah.
And how well they do their jobs. We don't have necessarily, at least in the administration here, what I've been involved with, the administration building here, there's not necessarily a lot of redundancy with people standing around doing nothing. Everyone's here, they're doing their job, they're happily doing their job. And it's been just really nice to see people running our township professionally.
And it is.
It really is.
And as you said, I think the staff means a lot, to have a professional staff that's on top of things.
Sure.
It makes it easier for somebody like the elected officials to be able to do their jobs.
Yeah, because just the other day we were normal, constituents, and now we're the people's representative, and they've really brought us up to speed really, really quick and made it easy.
As you ran, what were some of the issues did you run on issues? Did you have some issues that you were particularly anxious to be able to do something about?
I thought that Anderson, and one reason I live here, I always thought it was a very well-run local government. And I like our conservative nature, fiscally and other ways. I always thought that I didn't come in with any expectations to shake up the apple cart per se. There wasn't any issues that needed to be corrected. I wanted to simply continue our good form of conservative government here in Anderson. So when one of the trustees, Peggy, decided at not the last minute, but later, that she wasn't running again, I felt that it was an opportunity for me to step up and serve. And I think everybody should serve in whatever capacity. I think our form of government works best when the electorate is involved in any level of the process. If it's working a poll, if it's supporting a candidate, handing out literature. Sometimes people do think that it's enough for you to just wake up either on election day or beforehand and mail in a ballot and you've done your duty. But I think the time has come for us to do a little bit more than that.
What, as you look forward now to this, is it a 2-year term?
4 years.
4-year term.
Yeah.
as you look forward, what are some of the things that you're all looking at now as far as 2014 is concerned that you hope to accomplish?
Well, we would definitely like to continue the level of service that we've been able to provide to the citizens without having to come back to the citizens for any sort of levy. That's always a challenge, and everything's going up, and it's a challenge. But we would like to at least continue. People move to Anderson because of our quality of life and the level of services that we provide, and we'd like to continue that. We have some really exciting developments coming online. The Racino down by the river.
Right.
We've got some redevelopment on Beachmont Avenue that's going on, that some restaurants are coming in. We've also have Kroger's expanding or doing some redevelopment. It's just an exciting time. There really is. If you consider the state of our national economy and then you look at how well we're doing here locally,
Absolutely.
It's a very exciting time.
But I think that's all because, as you said, because just the approach that this government has taken
Yes.
for a long, long time and maintained that kind of a positive direction. But
it's a testament to our local,
really
to our past leaders that they've been able to navigate the cut in state funds and reduction in funding from the state, yet we've been able to maintain our level of services.
and make it a reasonable place to live.
And make it a very nice place to live.
I think we're in good hands.
I thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I congratulate you, and I'm looking forward to talking with you on future trustee talks, and anxious to hear as things move forward.
Ask me in 6 months.
I'll ask you in 6 months. Great to meet you.
I look forward to being back.
And congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing what you're doing, because I think that's a big step for anybody to take that step into that area of political arena. And I mean, it's a lot. And
Putting yourself in the public eye is different.
Is a big one.
It's different.
It is.
But it was fun. At times it wasn't. But I think everybody should do it. On any level. You don't have to, people say, I want to grow up and be, I don't know, president or whatever.
No.
Start small. And not belittling the small things. That's the important ones.
But I think that's where the action is.
It is.
I think it is in the little things. I think, I know a lot of people will look at and have great, goals that they set. I've always said in my time that I spent, I said it's the little things that I accomplished that probably nobody knew I did.
Right.
That made a difference somewhere along the way, and I think that's what it's all about. And you're going at it in the right way, so I wish you well.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for being with us.
Hopefully I'll see you again soon.
We'll see you again. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
All right. We'll be back, and we're going to meet Josh Girth when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back to Trustee Talk. I'm Dick Murgatroyd, and we're going to meet now the second new trustee here at Anderson Township, Josh Girth. Josh, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
Welcome to government.
Thank you.
First trip.
It is my first trip, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I actually grew up in Anderson Township. I went to Wilson Elementary, graduated from Turpin High School in 1994. Went all the way to the University of Cincinnati for college, and after graduating there, lived in Hyde Park for a few years, Mount Washington for a couple, and then was back to Anderson about 10, 11 years ago. My wife, Melissa, and I moved back here, and we've got 3 children. One in the school system, Reagan, who's 8, who's at Wilson, a 3rd grader, and then I've got twin boys who are 4 who are in preschool. So.
Your work's cut out for you for the next 20 years.
It's a party, no doubt about it.
Gotta be,
Yeah.
gotta be. You did you have aspirations to ever do what you're doing, to run for office, or is this something you just decided to do?
Well, I mean, I had been involved in some political things, just volunteering for campaigns, getting involved in local clubs, things of that nature for the last few years. And I'd given some thought to it, But I had decided basically to run after being involved in some other things out here in Anderson. I've been a big fan of Anderson all my life, and I knew when we moved back I wanted to get more involved. So I got involved in things like the Green Space Committee, Economic Development Committee. I served a term as a park commissioner for a little over 4 years. And so this just seemed like something else, another way to get involved. And I just thought, I could bring a little bit of a diversity, being a little younger, having a young family, and knowing that we're going to be in Anderson for a while. I thought that maybe I could bring a little different perspective to things that are going on here. But by and large, I think a lot of Anderson and the way that it's run, and so part of me getting involved was just mainly to see those things that are good continue.
You obviously had to campaign, and I mean, what did you run into during that process?
It was we definitely had to campaign. It was an interesting process. I mean, I think it's something that people don't realize until you're actually in something like that, how difficult it can be, and not only on the candidate, but the people that are around him, including my family. By and large, it was great. I mean, I got to meet a lot of people, especially towards the last couple of months. I mean, it really became a full-time event, and most of it was very positive. I mean, but like any political race, it had its moments of just ugliness, and I'm glad that's behind us. So
it's a lot of work.
It is. It's a lot
I don't
of
think
work.
anybody appreciates how much work it is to run a campaign or to run for office.
Yeah.
And I really have great respect for anybody that does it. I spent 10 years in political life, and I grew to appreciate very quickly how hard people work and the sacrifices that they often make in doing that. And today, especially because just the nature of media and the nature of
Right.
of the world we're in now, it can be a really ugly experience.
Right.
For a lot of people. I think local level probably maybe even that can get bad. But I mean,
Yes, it can.
and you have to be tough, and especially if you have a family. I think it's tough when you're family too sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because now people can pretty much say whatever they want, and you're constantly kind of defending yourself. But I thank you for doing it.
I appreciate it.
And as I mentioned earlier when we were talking with Andrew, this area here, Anderson, I'm impressed, always impressed with the government here and what they've accomplished and what they continue to accomplish. And still make it reasonable for people to live here.
Right.
and have a really wonderful quality of life. Did you have any particular issues when you set out that you really were focused on, that you felt like you really wanted to, pursue as part of your agenda as a trustee?
Yeah. I mean, I did. I had a couple of campaign issues that I ran on. One of them was preserving the good things that we do have, and a lot of that is related to the existing township administration and some of the things that the trustees have done in the past to lay the groundwork, for the fact that we do have that such great level of living at a very conservative level. I mean, the fiscal spending in here in this township has been, outstanding.
It's amazing. Yes, it is.
Really has. So a lot of it was, or one of the things I ran on was preserving that. The other thing is protection. I mean, the township is basically here to provide services. So that's police, that's fire, that's the road maintenance. All of those things are really what the staff here is charged to do with, and they do a phenomenal job with it. And so maintaining that level of protection and that level of service is certainly something that I know Andrew and I both, ran strong on. And I also know that Russ Jackson, the current trustee, supports that immensely as a priority. The third thing, which I think is, maybe, something a little different, was I ran on, promoting Anderson Township. Economic development. I mean, as you probably know, there's a lot going on in this township,
Yeah,
and this
sure
is going
is.
to be a big year for Anderson with Belterra Park coming online, and some of the things that are happening on Beachmont with some new retail, Kroger and what they're going to do. All very exciting stuff. But do I think there's other things that we need other than maybe another car-related, retail. Yeah, I mean, so one of the things I mentioned was a hotel. Why we don't have a hotel in Anderson Township is a mystery to me, and I plan to figure out, how we can get that done, because I think it's something that's long overdue. And where does that go? Does it go down near the Racino? Does it come up near the Anderson Center and the Town Center? That remains to be seen. But absolutely, I think that's one of the things I'd love to see get done.
Well, because in the last, I've been here 5 years over here with our business, and in that length of time, I mean, Beachmont Avenue is like there is something constantly going on. Yeah. Just on Beachmont Avenue on that corridor,
right.
And that's great. It also presents problems,
yeah.
With traffic and that kind of thing. So you got to deal with those kind of issues that
right.
come as a result. But just in the last 6 months, I mean, 4 or 5 new businesses have built and are opened
right.
up just on Beachmont. So it's constantly in motion.
Yeah.
I think you guys just got to feel really good about what's happening. It's a matter of probably, if anything, just controlling it.
It is. I mean, and there's a lot of momentum, which is great. But I think that there are things that we can be proactive on as trustees to go after certain retailers that people would like to see and make those calls to those retailers. Everyone likes to complain about Beachmont and the look of Beachmont and the way that, the signs and the power lines and all those things. But if you look at what Beachmont was, 5-6 years ago versus today, we have put a lot of guidelines in place to help curb some of those to get a more uniform look on signage and landscaping and things of that nature. And most developers who are redeveloping property on Beachmont have been very accommodating with putting in additional landscaping and doing the things that we are suggesting, because as a township, and what I don't think a lot of people know is we're a very limited form of government. We can't force anyone on Beachmont to build their building a certain way, but we can certainly suggest it for the betterment of the community, and most developers have been very open and willing to do that, which is great.
I think so, because I think probably for the most part they appreciate this environment also, where they are,
right.
and the history of this area has been so positive. I would think everybody wants to be a part of the whole and be willing to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smaller community. You see people that if you are a property owner, you see your customers, you see people in Kroger and at restaurants, and you want to be sure that you're doing the right things, and that's part of it.
You're into this now about a couple weeks when we're taping this.
Yeah.
How has your life changed just in that length of time since you've officially now are an elected trustee for Anderson Township?
Well, I am spending a little bit more time up here at the Anderson Center than I have in the past, and but I got to tell you, I mean, the first 2 weeks have been great. The Vicki Earhart and her staff are phenomenal people. I mean, they really know what they're doing, and they really have the best interest of this township at heart. I mean, I was here one night, and Suzanne Parker, our HR director, was here late. I mean, the people, they care about this community and they work hard at it. And so, one of the things that I've noticed being here and being in this building, a fair amount, is just what a great asset we have here in this building. This building is a cultural center that I don't think a lot of people know about, with the theater, with ACTV, with Summer Fair, with the Chamber, a lot going on here. And people need to come up here and experience this, I think, more than they have. And I'm hoping between our ability to push out, on Facebook and social media aspects, that we can bring more attention to the things that are going on in Anderson Township and get people more involved.
You mentioned the hotel was one of your I guess, areas that you want to take a look at. What else do you hope to look at this year as you begin this journey that you'd like to see accomplished?
Well, that's certainly one that I'd love to see. Now, I don't think a hotel gets done in 2014, no. But maybe at least we get underway with some talks on something like that. Belterra Park is going to be a huge asset. It's going to be one of the bigger news, developments in Anderson this year. I mean, they're planning on opening May 1st in time for the Derby. And that is really going to be a game changer. It's going to be the nicest racino, probably the nicest racetrack in the country. It's going to bring a new tourism element to Anderson Township. And how do we deal with that? What is going to be the outcome of that? You've got a first-class operator in Pinnacle Entertainment. Those guys know what they're doing, and it's going to be a lot of fun for the trustees, the township, and the people of Anderson to be involved in that project and be a part of that project. So that's one of the things I'm definitely looking forward to being involved with this year.
Well, I think Anderson's very fortunate to have that. I think that,
Right.
I mean, I don't think people appreciate that yet until it opens.
Right.
And then I think they will really appreciate it.
I think
after
so
that.
too. There's going to be a lot for people to do that there.
So how's your family feel about this whole thing?
Oh, they're great. I mean, God love my wife. She has been nothing but supportive of this. I mean, there were times when I think she was kind of like, okay, but no. I mean, it's been great. And my kids just, they love it too. I don't think they quite understand what's going on, but that's probably just as well. So it's good.
Well, I thank you for what you're doing. I mean that. I think it's great that guys like you step up and want to be a part of that and are willing to put your name on that ballot and then back it up and with a tremendous responsibility.
Yeah.
And as we talked earlier with Andrew, you're the first responders for people. I think the public, the citizens know where you are, know who you are, and how to find you.
Right.
And they kind of look to you to be that, to guide and to listen. So it's a big responsibility. And I'm convinced, just having met you two guys, that they're in good hands.
Well, I appreciate it. We're excited about it. And if people need to get involved, they can get in contact with us, and we encourage it. I'm looking forward to working with the citizens, with the parks, with the schools, with the chamber, with everybody. I think it's good days are ahead in Anderson.
I think so too.
Great.
I look forward to seeing you on the future Trustee Talk.
I look forward to being here.
It'll be, we'll have a lot to talk about.
And
I'll be
hopefully
anxious.
all good stuff.
It will be. It will be. I'll be anxious just to see as you go along in this first year, because it's a whole different experience. I know from anything you've probably ever done before.
Right.
But it's very gratifying.
Yeah.
It has its bad days, as everybody does, but I found those 10 years I spent were some of the most gratifying years. And sometimes frustrating years that I spent, but I was honored that I had that opportunity, and so I wish you well.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
And we thank you for being with us. We want to thank Josh and Andrew both for joining us on this edition of Trustee Talk. I think you're in good hands, folks, as they begin their journey as in serving the citizens of Anderson Township as a trustee. And we look forward to talking with them throughout the year now and learning as they go how their experience is going and what they're learning along the way. We want to thank you for joining us and sharing your day with us. I hope the rest of your day will be pleasant and productive. And of course, I always, as I say, I'm Dick Murgatroyd, and on behalf of Nikki Bishop and Andy Crozier, our producer and director here on Trustee Talk, we thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again on the next Trustee Talk here on ACTV. See you then.
Thank you.